Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Force here, and today I wanted to show you a fantastic example of the Pyro-smith deck in action. Now the Pyro-smith is a deck that I spotlighted in the last video for Hearthstone. It's a very interesting deck that focuses around board clearing, card advantage, and then surprising mid to late game damage. Most of this is all focusing around the Pyromancer, although you've got other means of doing the board clearing, such as Whirlwind and such as your Abomination. But I just wanted to show you what turned out to be a prime example game of how successful this deck can really be. Now, if you're just interested in seeing the crazy combo go off, you're going to want to skip to around around 5 minutes 45 seconds in this video. That's where things start to pick up. I do my board clearing, and then you just see crazy combo damage and a huge advantage from that point throughout the rest of the game. But if you want to stay here in the first part of the video, I'm going to sort of explain to you what's going on in my thought process. I also want to just throw out there the information. This is a Masters level game. This is a high ranking game where you're pitted against someone of a comparable level. So I like to start off with the Acolyte of Pain. When I know that I'm playing against a player who is going to have more small damage. So for example, I just see this 2-2. I know that my Acolyte of Pain isn't going to die to that in one hit. So I put him down thinking, okay, if he swings with his dagger and then his thing, I'm going to get to draw 2 cards. So that didn't end up happening. He ended up throwing down a deadly poison, but that's the sort of situation. Now, had he had something with 3 power in play, and it was going to guaranteed be a single hit death, then I wouldn't have played it, and I would have just armored up. And that's the thing you have to keep in mind when you're playing this deck. You play it slow. Unless things are incredibly daunting, you know you're going to take like 10 or 15 damage next turn. If you're just taking 2 or 3 damage for the first few turns, that's fine. Take the damage, armor up, buy yourself time. You're waiting for the big combos, you're waiting for the huge advantage and the board clearing that you're going to get in those combos. And that's the sort of combo that you're going to see trigger here in this video. So I threw down the slime there. The slime, amazing. The Swamp Ooze, to be specific, is amazing against any hero with a weapon. It's actually best suited against the Rogue. The Rogue is supposed to be this deck's toughest matchup. This particular version of a Rogue deck, he's playing a spell power deck with spell damage being the focus. And so knowing that, after seeing 2 spell creatures in play, my next goal is destroy his spell power creatures. So we're going to be eliminating his 2-2 as our main focus, and that's pretty much what we're going to want to do here. So we'll be attacking the 3-2. We're also going to throw down this Acolyte of Pain. Once again, the notion is I kill his 2-2 with my 3-2. If he swings my Acolyte of Pain with his 2-4, there's a card draw. If he hits me with his dagger, there's another card draw. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get 2 card draws off of playing this, and that's the only reason I played it. If I didn't think I was going to get 2 card draws, I would have just armored up. Again, give myself pretty much what's effectively 2 health, and just wait it out. Wait to play the Acolyte of Pain until my big combo, where it can actually be really ridiculous if you play it when you're doing your combo damage board clearing. Instead, what ends up happening, he throws down a Perdition's Blade, triggers the combo for his Eviscerate, and then ends up hitting it for 4, so I only get 1 card draw off of it. Even if you only get 1 card draw off of it, it's not the best, but if you're absolutely positive that you're only going to get 1 card draw off of it, then I would suggest not playing it. Wait till you think that you've got the advantage of at least 2 card draws off of it, otherwise just armor up and just sit and wait it out. Sitting and waiting out is a theme that you'll be hearing me talk about a lot when it comes to this deck. And even at this point, you know, I've got the Abomination with Taunt that I could play. I've got the Darkseer that I could play to get healing. It's not urgent. I'm not about to die, so we're just going to hold on to those for a later point, a more crucial point in the mid to late game. So we're going to see the Dagger Mastery come down to make his Perdition's Blade a 3-1 instead of a 2-1. He gets some more damage. He's got me down to 16. I know it would be easy to panic at this point, but it's still not time to panic. It's still not time to drop my whole hand, show him everything I have, just to get rid of a 2-4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw down 2 creatures. I'm going to throw down my Berserker, my second Berserker. There's the Gurbashi in play, and then I've got the other Berserker. And we're going to use that damage, trigger off of my first creature taking damage to kill his thing. And now I've got, look at this, a 5-5, a 5-2, and a 2-3 in play. The 2-3 gives my creatures haste, so in subsequent turns with him in play, I could drop down anything and swing really hard. Now this turn, he ends up putting sort of a kink in the plans here, throws down a Vanish. So what do I say? No big deal. You know, you spent a lot of resource there. You didn't play anything else that turn. So I'm just going to redrop my creatures, and we'll do this dance again. We'll continue this back and forth. You're going to vanish. I'm going to throw down my charge. I'm going to throw down my Berserker, and then I will hit you with the Berserker. It's not a lot of damage, but the Berserker's in play right now. Now I'm setting things up. I've got the Berserker in play under the premise that in future turns, damage is going to go across the board, and the Berserker is going to get huge. So you're going to see him eliminate my charge creature, which is probably the smart move there. Because, you know, if he's in play, then the future creatures that I play have charge, and that becomes really scary for him. So he eliminates my charge creature, and then he throws down what turns out to be 2 Defias Ringleaders. And then I see, this is the moment. I've been sitting on my board clear cards the entire game. I had card draw so that I was able to draw into more stuff, and this is the moment. So you guys are about to see the trigger effect and this deck shine in all of its glory. We're going to start off with a Wild Pyromancer. Here comes the Wild Pyromancer. Wild Pyromancer goes into play. Whenever I play a spell, he deals 1 damage across the board. First spell we play, Commanding Shout. 1 damage across the board. My minions cannot be brought below 1 health at all during this turn. Second thing we play, Battle Rage. We draw a card for every minion that has dealt damage, that has damage dealt to it. There's 4 in play that have damage dealt. We draw 4 cards. We drew into an Armor Smith and a Whirlwind. We're going to throw down the Armor Smith. Now whenever one of our creatures take damage, we get armor for it. We're going to throw down a Whirlwind. The Whirlwind does damage. Plus, because it's a spell, we get damage as well from the Pyromancer. All of this damage the minions have been taking have been pumping up my Berserker, and now I swing for 17. What? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I got caught during that turn. I cleared his board. I hit for 17. I drew 4 cards, and I got 3 armor. All of that in a single turn. That is the perfect scenario. And look at I've got a full hand of cards. I've got an Abomination with Taunt that can clear the board. I've got Healing. I've got another Berserker. I've got an Execute, a Whirlwind, another Pyromancer. It is absolutely ridiculous. And again, the reason I wanted to show you this game is because this is a pitch perfect example of this deck going off well. And the funniest thing is that this happens a lot. For the reason that I stated, we're holding onto our hand, we're playing it slow, we're drawing cards, and we're waiting for that perfect moment to strike. And if you're playing against a super aggressive deck that's hitting you early, like a Murloc deck or a Beast deck, you drop your Pyromancer earlier, you drop your Abomination earlier, you throw down your Whirlwind earlier. But regardless, I found this deck to be very strong, incredibly effective, and a heck of a lot of fun, especially if you like the slow control type of decks. So there you go, guys. This is an obvious win. He is out of cards. I've got a full hand of absurdity, and he's about to concede. A great example of the Pyro-smith deck. If you didn't watch that video, go ahead and check it out. It's the Deck Spotlight Pyro-smith Warrior deck. It's pretty strong. As you saw here, it can be crazy effective. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe. More Hearthstone coverage coming in the future. Keep watching, and keep owning.